Hi, I'm Lucy Shirley. I'm a composer. I'm currently in Iowa City, Iowa. I'm studying right now at the University of Iowa, so I'm here for the summer. So I grew up in an extremely musical background. My mom was always playing music. She was a pianist when she was younger. I started taking lessons when I was a kid. I was obsessed with show tunes and kind of like classic folk. And I think a lot of that manifests in my vocal writing. Kind of vocal writing is my like first love as far as composition goes. And yeah, I think I still add a lot of theatrical elements to my all of my works, whether I mean to or not, whether they're instrumental or vocal. I'm always thinking of kind of the story and what I'm trying to tell. I grew up singing, constantly doing a lot of like musical theater. I did a lot of singing in high school, and then when I went to college, I was a piano performance major, but my secondary was voice, and I always enjoyed like singing in the choirs there, doing like an opera. And then when I kind of transitioned more toward composing at the end of my undergrad, it was just kind of a natural first love is writing for the voice because I had been writing. I did a lot of kind of like singer-songwriter writing throughout like middle school, high school, early college, and so then it felt like a natural transition. So I originally wrote a poem end of 2020. I just moved to a new city. I think everyone was spending a lot of time alone, a lot of time on Instagram, like a lot of time looking in a mirror, and I realized there was kind of like this dichotomy between the body positivity movement and like wanting to love myself, but then also maybe feeling bad about myself, but then feeling bad that I'm feeling bad about myself, and this kind of strange feedback loop. And so I remember getting really frustrated one day and just realizing, okay, I will always try to love myself, but sometimes I'm not gonna succeed in that, and that's okay. That's not. I'm gonna cry about it, and that's okay. I don't have to feel bad about that for sometimes feeling funny being in a body. That I think body positivity is wonderful, and I think all bodies should be represented, and I think it's a good thing, and it's helped in so many ways. But then also sometimes I think it gets for me, I then get down on myself for not feeling positive enough, which is completely the opposite of what it should be. I always write from personal experience. I can't write about anything I don't know. So whether it's a vocal piece or an instrumental piece, I'm always, whether I talk about it or not, I'm always writing about something in my life. And not just like bodies or stretch marks, but just experiences that I've had. I wrote one recently, maybe like I think it was last summer, about I took a lot of different texts from female authors in the early 20th century, and they were all kind of talking about their place in the world and like struggling with um, like who they are and kind of like their place, who is God, where is nature. And I found myself thinking a lot of the same things at the time and setting that. I also have another piece for solo saxophone that I wrote when I was sitting like, or I wrote the initial melody sitting just on a park bench in the middle of this like giant park where I used to live, and just thinking about like, oh my gosh, I feel so tiny, and like there's this giant tree above me, and like thinking about the saxophone kind of working through those emotions, even though you don't hear text. It's that's being explored. I think it varies piece to piece. I'll say for this specific piece for stretch marks, I definitely started out with the text first, and then I kind of let that guide me. And I did a lot of vocal improvisation. So that kind of the opening is all what I improvised. And I had multiple drafts of it, but it was all coming from that like first seed of what do I want it to be? What do I want it to feel like in the body, in the voice? So I think I do spend a lot of time improvising, whether at the piano or vocally. I'm sure somewhere in my old phone, I have a recording of me doing this piece and like kind of figuring out what it's going to sound like. Yeah, and then I kind of edit it down from there. But I always like having that initial just instinct kind of guiding me, and then I can edit it. Then I can kind of craft it into what I want. personally, I don't think I ever know. I think I just have to find a good place to stop. Um, so I don't go crazy. And also maybe there's a deadline and hopefully it matches up that I feel good about a piece when the deadline comes. Yeah, I just have to kind of like let it go. And I always have to remember I can come back to it because I think I get very caught up in like, oh my gosh, what if it's not perfect? What if it's not? What if I need to change this? I can always come back. I can always edit, but I think I just have to kind of like let the baby go and kind of be okay with what it is. I think I hope that there is at least one person who gets it. I think I can't expect that everyone is going to get it, but if there's like one person there who goes, okay, no, I see that, I feel that, I've experienced that, and it spoke to me, then I think my job is complete. I feel good about it. And I'd rather really touch that one person who gets it than maybe make it more accessible. I'm not sure. That's I kind of go back and forth constantly because that's always like a question. Yeah, but I think I'm writing for maybe that one person in the audience who needs it, who needs to hear what it's saying. Yeah, I don't think there are any wrong answers. I think everybody has to like make their own decisions in that regard, like thinking about accessibility, thinking about who's listening, who they want to listen. Um, there's a really old show too, and I forget even what show it's from, but it talks about like I'd rather be nine people's favorite thing than 100 people's ninth favorite thing. I'd rather speak to nine people than maybe be like, oh, okay, it's fine. Like people are cool with it, whatever. I think my favorite is getting to work with performers and just hear what they like. A lot of times my favorite thing to do is just ask like what are your favorite pieces? Like what send me stuff, like send me solo rep that you play that you love that you listen to. And I think that's a really great way to get performers perspectives of like what they're excited about right now. It's also kind of a clear what are they looking for? Because I like um writing in a lot of different styles, but if they're looking for a specifically one type of piece, I want to make sure that I know that and that then okay, I can kind of like get that for inspiration and start putting that into like my palette of colors, but it makes it really clear. And then it also like helps me just learn new music that I probably wouldn't know. Like I wouldn't know certain solo marimba pieces, but like now I do, and it's cool to just get that kind of like boots on the ground view of instrument writing. For me, I just like listening to Spotify, like just hearing like new recommendations, whether it's kind of in the more like contemporary classical space or just like the pop space. I think that also makes me really excited. And then sometimes I'll have friends send me things or like former professors who like send me an email being like, "Oh, I think you should listen to this person," and then I kind of get a new musical inspiration. When I was a lot younger, it was very much kind of singer-songwriter, Regina Spektor, also kind of like more like show tunes. And then as I got further into college, I started listening to a lot of really interesting voices like Kate Soper, some of her extended techniques. Um, I listened to like some Ted Hearn music and I realized, oh, okay, like I can kind of open up my palette. I can use all of these different tools. And then I've had different teachers kind of gently push me in different directions. And so then I think I've now come to hopefully being able to synthesize all of those and figure out, okay, I can write in a lot of different ways, but hopefully it's all me. Hopefully you can still hear me at the center. That's my goal. That's what I hope. And sometimes I think I succeed better than other times, but I love it when someone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh, I can so hear that's you. Like I thought that was you." It's like, "Yes, that's my goal. I want to be real, authentic to the sound world that I like." I had kind of just decided I was going to be a composer. I had just been in my first year of grad school and I was like, this is what I want to do. So I had very little experience at the time writing for different instrumentation. I had experience in vocal writing and in piano writing just because I'm a pianist and a vocalist, but clarinet writing, it was completely foreign to me and I was really excited to explore it and to get some different techniques that I mean, I'd never written for a solo clarinet or a clarinet like in a chamber setting. And it's a very different process than thinking of like a clarinet section. And so I was really excited to explore more extended techniques like multiphonics, maybe like some air sounds, stuff that I was just getting into and like listening, hearing like I don't know, Kate Soper's Only the Words Themselves Mean What They Say. The first movement of that uses so many extended techniques for flute and for voice. And I wouldn't say I use a lot of extended techniques at all, but I kind of had that in the back of my mind going, okay, I can make this clarinet kind of an extension of the vocal sound, and hopefully I can meld them and make an interesting color together. So I think I learned the most about clarinet writing and like broader wind writing from that piece specifically. Yeah, I've been really excited to write a lot more for winds and to incorporate some more like vocalizations and maybe even the wind player speaking text into the mouthpiece and just kind of some more saxophone writing. So I feel like this piece definitely helped me expand kind of my own knowledge base. A lot of composers have been doing it, and then I've been kind of gravitating toward it too, just because so much of what I write is theatrical. Um, and you'll have different like you'll hear different opinions on whether like it's successful or not, like putting text into a mouthpiece. But to me, even if you're not hearing the text, it's more about the sound that you're hearing, these like whispered sounds or these consonants that your brain is interpreting as text, and it kind of adds a different type of color that you can't get otherwise. I was thinking about range. I was thinking about starting off with a very limited range. It's like you're very close to your body, and then as you like trace these lines almost on your own person, the lines of the music are expanding as well. So like the range is expanding. The melisma is getting more intense. Like we're having more weaving passages, whereas before maybe it's just syllabic writing and da da, and then suddenly it's really expanding into like different parts of the voice and um going very like low. Um I have some different note options depending on the singer's range, but like hopefully they can go quite low and then really expand high. So I ask the vocalist to do quite a lot if possible, kind of from like this very low point of like being very close to your body, almost like humming to yourself, and then expanding into like this almost like screaming type of like really intense emotion. Only about 2, I think. So I've written a miniature opera that I was lucky enough to do a video of some of the scenes and working with some performers in Kansas City. They're fabulous. So I was able to stage kind of those few scenes of the opera, and then I've also written a piece for like theatrical speaking string quartet that was staged in a concert maybe a year and a half ago, I think, and that was a great experience as well to kind of explore more um, theater in chamber music. I'm really interested in kind of blurring the lines between theater and concert music because I don't think there's much of a difference. At least to me, I think it's really easy to cross over. And whether or not they're speaking, whether or not there's text, thinking more about staging and not just the score, but also how the score is going to be performed visually. I mean, these are people on stage. Like they have voices, they have lungs. So I think sometimes that can be used. And even if it's not narration, because sometimes there's I don't know, there's a little bit of controversy going, oh, like don't ask performers to speak, like they're not theater performers. But I think it's okay to ask for maybe sound or breath or more of their body involved than just their instruments. Like their instrument is will always be there, but they are too. It's like both are present on stage. So let's not put a divide that they can only play the piano or they can only play the cello. I think they're people. They can make sound and make expression. I think all I can do is I have to know it's there. I have to feel it and I have to write it with that in mind, and not even thinking like theatrically. I want the music to convey the emotion I was feeling, and then hopefully it will for some people. Some people listening will hear that in it. I just finished pieces for some summer festivals, working with some percussion instruments I've never written before, so that's really exciting. Percussion and flute, and yeah, using a lot of kind of speaking into the flute as well. Like I was talking about, I'm going to be doing a collaboration with a saxophonist I'm super excited about. Saxophone is also one of the first instruments that I wrote for, and so this is going to be a really, really cool project. There's a lot coming up this coming year that I'm going to kind of prep for. Hopefully, a string quartet. The University of Iowa does a Jack Quartet residency every year, so it's really exciting to get to have the opportunity to have a work read by them, and maybe even in concert. And then I'm hoping to move more toward large ensemble writing as well. I have some opportunities coming up that hopefully I can at least get some readings and some experience working in a larger medium. Feel free to follow me on social media. Um, Everywhere I'm just Lucy Grace Shirley. So follow me on Instagram, on YouTube. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really, really excited about this project, and it's such a pleasure to get to speak with you today.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this interview and want to see more like it, check out the 30 by 30 by 30 playlist on our channel. For more information about the 30 by 30 by 30 project, check out the website linked to the right.